Okay, so question. This is her first name, Miss Mahmoud. So I should call her Miss Quresh.
Dear professors,
Is that Quresh?
students, scholars, ladies and gentlemen, our event now starts. Please be quiet now, okay? Let's welcome the Deputy Director of the Western China International Communication Organization and the Editor-in-Chief, Ms. Chen Dongyan, to give the opening remark.
Dear professors, scholars, and students from China, Pakistan, and Singapore, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's my great honor to have you today to participate in the 2024 Asia Youth Dialogue. This is the second time that Western China International Communication Organization and the Luhai Foundation are co-hosting the International Youth Dialogue. This year, we will focus on youth entrepreneurship and innovation. Asia is the fastest growing economic region in the world, full of opportunities and challenges. Well, how could the young people find the right way to start their careers or business? What supports and help do you expect from parents, government, and society? These are the key questions we will discuss today. China has a very close cooperation with Singapore and Pakistan. Last week, the Prime Minister of Pakistan visited China, strengthens the all-around cooperation between the two countries through the Pakistan-China Economic Corridor. Singapore is also a strategic partner of China. Chongqing is the operation center for CCI, and we will reach 10th anniversary next year. CCI has brought extensive cooperation between Singapore and Chongqing on international trade, logistics, IOSTC, finance, and technology. So today, we invite you young scholars, students from 9 universities of these 3 countries to engage in this dialogue. I hope you enjoy our time here and make friends after this event. Now I'd like to introduce our guest here in Chongqing, Professor Wu Ning, head of the School of Foreign Languages and Cultures, Chongqing University. She also will be our distinguished expert to give her opinion after this dialogue. Professor Li Xiaohui, Dean of the School of Foreign Language and Cultures, Chongqing University. Welcome. Associate Professor Wang Yin, Director of English Language Department, School of Foreign Languages, Chongqing University of Posts and Telecommunications. Welcome. And also Mrs. Chen Chan, Deputy Secretary General of Chongqing Luhai International Communication Foundation. Welcome. And also students from Chongqing University of Posts and Telecommunications. Welcome. Students from National Universities of Singapore, Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts, Nanyang Technological University, and Singapore Management University. Welcome. Students from Pakistan Institute of Development Economics, Cosmets, Islamabad Foundation University, International Islamic University, and Bahrain University. Welcome. And also special thanks to Mr. Zamir, my old friend. Thanks for the great work. Thank you. Please also allow me to introduce moderators. Mr. Joshua Moore, the moderator of today's event. He's also a teacher from Chongqing Medical University. And Mrs. Oliva Du, the moderator in Singapore, from the National University of Singapore. Welcome. And Mrs. Marwa Qureshi, the hostess in Islamabad, Pakistan. Welcome. Okay, now I hand over to Mr. Joshua Moore. Thank you. Let's enjoy tonight.
Okay. Thank you, Catherine, for the speech. I would like to say hello, everyone, and I am happy to be here as your moderator for the event. As she said, my name is Joshua Moore. I am a teacher at Chongqing Medical University. Um, I'm glad to be here. This is a very interesting experience and event for, I think, everyone involved. I like international things like this. But the first order of business here will be to explain the process of events for the night that we have ahead of us. This event includes 3 teams of students that are joining us for discussion on topics about entrepreneurship and innovation. We will have a team from Pakistan, a team from Singapore, and of course the team here in China joining us for these discussions. There will be 3 sessions of discussion, with each session focusing on a specific topic related to, again, entrepreneurship and innovation, coming from the speaker's respective countries and your own individual perspectives. Each session of discussion will have a total of 4 speakers, 2 of which are going to be from the Chinese team, one of which is from the team in Pakistan, and one of which is from the team in Singapore. Each speaker giving a keynote speech will have 5 minutes to give their speech, and we will alternate turns on who goes first, second, and third, depending on the topic. Each speaker, I would like to please remind you, when you are giving your speech at the beginning, please introduce yourself. Give us your name, where you're from, what your major is, and what institution or school do you study at. Help us know you better so we can understand your perspective. After these keynote speeches are done, we are going to have a special guest from Yemen come on for a case share, where he is going to give us his personal experience with entrepreneurship and innovation, dealing with this situation as a entrepreneurial youth. Lastly, we are going to have a question and answer section where the countries will have an opportunity to ask each other questions based on the topics of this discussion, as well as the content said during their speech. And we will try to have it be fairly mutual. So each country will have an opportunity to ask every other country the question and or a question and answer the questions, of course. But before we begin, I would like to discuss, or before we begin the discussions, apologies, I would like to ask the moderator from Pakistan, Ms. Manur Qureshi, to introduce the participants over on her side in Pakistan.
Thank you, Mr. Joshua. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mahnur Qureshi, and I shall be the moderator from Pakistan side. First of all, I would like to appreciate the organizers for organizing such kind of unique forum hosted by WCICO, Chongqing, Bridges News, and the co-organizers in Pakistan and Singapore. So I believe the exchange of ideas among the youth of Pakistan, Singapore, and China will definitely lay a solid foundation to explore more opportunities in innovation and entrepreneurship. So we have seen since 2012 the rise in the entrepreneurship industry in Pakistan. We have seen the number of startups, funding opportunities, incubation centers, entrepreneurship-centric events in public and private sectors both have increased. So to talk about this topic, we have a dynamic panel here. who will share their experience and will guide us how to be in that industry in more active way. So we are having Mr. Saddam Hussain with us. He is an institutional economist, public policy analyst, writer, trainer, and he's having over 7 years of experience in development sector and research. Then we are also having Mr. Ali Zaki, who is the business leader and he's having 12 years of experience in corporate sector, and he's currently serving as director 5G marketing and project director Iowa City. And then another keynote speaker is Mr. Vakas Ashraf Qureshi. He's a communication specialist and he's having experience of almost 12 years, and he's dedicated to social behavior change communication, public advocacy, and inclusion in initiatives. And then we are having students from different universities of Pakistan. So we are having few students from Comset University as well. We are having Mr. Muhammad Zishan Reis from Comset. And another one is Arisha Khatak. She's a student of Foundation University. And then we have Anita Ali. She is a student from International Islamic University, Islamabad. And we are having Maria Qayyum. She's a PhD student. She's an entrepreneur as well. So she's a founder of Green Plastic, and she's graduated from Fatma Jinnah University. And then we are having Faiza Dua, and she's also from Fatma Jinnah University. And then we are having our co-organizer of this dynamic Asia Youth Dialogue, Mr. Zamir Asadi with us. He's renowned journalist and he's well known as sinologist as well. Then we are having Miss Noreen with us. She is an academician and she is the trainer of teachers in a very well-known school in Pakistan. So that's from our side. Thank you so much, and over to you, Mr. Joshua.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Manur. I look forward to hearing from all of your speakers, and thank you to everyone in Pakistan for being involved in this process. Next, I would like to turn it over to Miss Olivia, the moderator in Singapore, to introduce the participants and speakers on your side.
Josh. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello from Singapore. Welcome to the Singapore branch sub-venue for the Youth and Cities International Youth Dialogue 2024. We are grateful for this opportunity to share and learn. My name is Olivia. I am honored to be your MC for today. I'm a student of National University of Singapore, Bachelor of Law. Today, we are privileged to have distinguished speakers from some of the Singapore's most privileged institutions who will share their insights with us. Our speakers are from or they have graduated from the National University of Singapore, a global leader in education and research, the Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts, renowned for nurturing creativity and artistic talent, Nanyang Technological University, at the forefront of technological innovation, Singapore Management University, excelling in business and social sciences. Without further ado, we are ready for this exciting and inspiring event.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Olivia. I also look forward to hearing what you guys have to say in Singapore. I'm very curious to see the perspective from everybody involved in this. I'm sure we can learn a lot from each other. So without further ado, let's begin. The first session is a topic about trends. And what that means is economic and industrial trends and changes that are happening in your country, as well as, new markets that are opening and current hotspots or like we could say popular startups. Right? So I would like to kick this off and start things with a speaker from China. This is going to be Miss Zhang Yanting from Chongqing University's School of Foreign Languages and Cultures. I would like to remind Miss Zhang Yanting and all of the speakers to please introduce yourself with, again, your name, where you're from, your school, what your major is. Just give us some background information. But Miss Zhang Yanting, you would please.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Zhang Yanqing, a sophomore student in Chongqing University and majored in English. And here I want to share my insight into the entrepreneurship and innovation. So if you're asking me about the current trends on the entrepreneurship and innovation, my answer is the new quality productive forces that is driven by the digital transition and the green transition. So nowadays, China's national economy has transitioning from the high-speed quality growth to a high-quality development. Therefore, it calling for a development of new quality productive forces, and it is crucial in facilitating the economic transformation. And this term was introduced by President Xi Jinping in last September. Also, be the center of working in 2024. And in this year's two session, the 14th National People's Congress, it is stressed that the traditional economic models just focused on the economic of scale and resource-intensive production. In contrast, the new quality product forces has focused on the technological innovation, intelligent manufacturing, and the creation of high value-added products. So, just as is stated in the Boao Forum for Asia BFA Annual Conference 2024, that China's green and digital innovation is injecting green momentum into its efforts to develop new quality product forces and promote the high quality economic development. So let's just focus on the green transition and digital transition. First, about the green transition. China has announced the dual carbon goals in 4 years ago, that by 2030 to peak the carbon emission, and by 2060 to reach the carbon neutrality. And all of these strategies will bring so much opportunities on the green development and also the environmental industries. And also recently, China has announced an important document that is named the Action Plan for Carbon Dioxide Peaking Before 2030, which was focused on the adjustment of the industrial structure. And it just means to develop industries that is related to sustainable development. And we're asking about what is the industries? My answer is the new three. First is the new vehicles, and second is the lithium-ion batteries, and third was the solar cells. So we can see from the left graph that the tendency of the new three's contribution to the export are rising, and the old threes is decreasing. We can know that the three new industries are going to replace the old three, which is the furniture, the clothing, and the home appliance. And they're becoming the new backbone of China's economy. And also the new three is developed so well in Chongqing. Take the intelligent connected new energy vehicles, NEVs, as example. The industry just driven more than 60 related enterprises to settle in the Western Chongqing Science City, and it is contribute to supporting employment, also promoting innovation. Second is the digital information. Recently, Chongqing and China State Council Information Office has released the white paper titled jointly build a shared energy on the cyberspace, that is to tell its center of working on the advanced strategic emerging industries such as AIGC, AI big models, also the smart manufacturing, also to upgrade the traditional industries, such as the transformation on the construction industry, the automobile industry, and the traditional agriculture. And all of this, no matter with the advance of strategic emerging industrials, also the transformation of the traditional industrials, bring about a adjustment of the talent structure of enterprises. So nowadays, enterprises just reduce their need of the general labels, but also focus on the increasing demand for the high-skilled personnel and innovative personnel. And currently, the gap between the two demand constantly expanding. So it would just focus on the Chongqing University's efforts. Actually, Chongqing University is always striving to cultivate the talents personnel in these industrials. Just also take the intelligent, connected new energy vehicles, NEVs, as example. Chongqing, as an important player, has worked with the Chang'an Automobile to rebuild the schools of software engineers, which just train product talents needed for the future. Thus, for all these economic transitions, no matter with the green transitions or the digital transitions, it just calling for a new quality product forces. Also, it just gave many opportunities on entrepreneurship and the innovation of the youth. So here, as a sophomore student in Chongqing University, I also want to seize the opportunity. Chongqing, as we all know that as a representative of China's economic transformation, has vigorous development in industrials such as the digital economy, the automobile industry, also the logistics industry. However, we all know that the international communication capabilities of the related cultural situation is relatively weak. So they're calling for a demand for the industrial to go outside. So I want to here to promote my startup cultivation on the urban international communication. And it was also a process of contributing my own strengths to the high quality economic development. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zhang Yanting. That was interesting, and I appreciate your perspective. I look forward to seeing how China's economy and production priorities develop and change in the future based on what you said and the National Party's Congress. Very interesting. However, without further ado, I would like to ask the second speaker, Mr. Liu Zhenwei, to approach or to come up to the podium. Mr. Liu Zhenwei is from the Chongqing University of Post and Telecommunications, right? The School of Communication Engineering.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Zhenwei Liu from Chongqing University of Post and Telecommunications, major in communication engineering. As a leader of a team that won the bronze award in the international track of the Internet Place Plus Innovation and Entrepreneurship competition, I'm honored to stand here and share my thoughts with you today. China's economy is currently stable and improving, leading global economical development. In 2023, the GDP grew by 5.2% year-on-year, marking a shift from rapid growth to high-quality development with a focus on technological innovation, environmental protection, and consumption upgrading. Over the past 40 years of reform and opening up, China has become the world's second largest economy and the leading manufacturing nation for 40 consecutive years. Today, China boasts a comprehensive industrial system, a vast market, and a stable society. As President Xi Jinping has emphasized, the fundamentals of the Chinese economy is strong resilience, enormous potential, vast room for maneuver, and long-term sustainability remain unchanged. They will provide great dynamism for the stability and recovery of the world economical and broader market opportunities for all countries. China continues to amass new driving forces and advantages in various sectors, from the digital economy to the low-carbon economy, and from strategic emerging industry to future industries. Through the Belt and Road Initiative, China's output of power batteries leads the world. Photovoltaic products exports are on the rise, and the momentum of new energy vehicles of NEVs abroad has surpassed that of traditional fuel vehicles. In 2023, China became the world's largest automobile export with NEVs, lithium batteries, and photovoltaic products, the new three, collectively supporting 1.06 trillion yuan, an increase of 29.9%, holding a dominant share in the internet market. Chongqing, a significant automotive industry base in China, ranks second nationwide in automobile production. The city is focusing industry base in China, a world-class industry cluster of intelligence and connected NEVs, aiming to surpass $1 trillion in industry scale by 2027. In recent years, over 70 policy measures have been introduced to support the green economical and sustainable development. These systematic, scientific, and process industrial policies cater to various stages of industrial growth, providing vast employment opportunities and platforms for our youth. Moreover, the continuous advancement of Chinese innovation and entrepreneurship policies has significantly optimized the entrepreneurship environment. The emergence of incubator bases, venture funds, and innovation and entrepreneurship competition offers abundant resources and support to aspiring entrepreneurs, resulting in numerous outstanding projects. As a leader of an innovation and entrepreneurship project on autonomous driving, I have gained deeper insights into fields like unmanned driving, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and 5G. These emerging technologies are being widely applied across various industries, including healthcare, finance, education, and manufacturing, driving the intelligence upgrading of industries. As the industrial trend matures and standards are established, market development will accelerate, offering vast potential. Finally, we are living in an era full of opportunities. As young people, we must see these opportunities, continues enhance our comprehensive skills and innovation capability, and pursue dreams to realize our personal value. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Liu Zhenwei. I appreciate your speech, and I agree. I do believe that there will be some interesting changes to come, especially with the electric vehicles and autonomous driving. I'm curious to see how autonomous driving works in China, to be quite honest. However, I would like to give an opportunity to speak to our other countries. So I am going to throw it over to Singapore and have our Singaporean team give us a speech.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Josh. For this topic, our Singapore venue would like to invite Mr. Steven Shi. Steven Shi holds a master's degree in AI from NUS. He's Principal Data and AI Engineering Manager in Handshakes in Singapore. Now, Mr. Shi, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evenings. I'm Stevens from Singapore. I have worked in industries for more than 14 years. but I graduated from NUS with a master's degrees in AI. I have, especially in after I graduations, I work in financial industries to build the applications to help them to boost the productivities. So today, I'm very honored to share my insights to see how the companies to grow in the financial sectors with the technologies. So there's a slide. Yes, very good. So according to yes, there's leggings. Sorry. So according to PwC 2024 Global AI Jobs Barometers, so those sectors have more exposed to the artificial intelligence, especially for financial services, experiencing almost 5 times higher growth in the labor productivity than those sectors have less exposed to AI, right? So a lot of the financial practitioners complain to me. They have a lot of the manual process to handle a lot of the financial documents in their daily work, right? So, for example, they need to manually extract key informations from financial statements, from company corporate announcements, from the IPO prospectus, right? And as well as there's some requirements that they need to classify whether the disclosures from the companies satisfy the regulatory requirements or not. And it's very tedious for them. Secondly, another typical examples could be they need to summarize the company performance from yearly basis. How do they analyze the company's profiles? How they do? How does the companies perform well or not? Right. Thirdly, is how can they perform the summaries from large volume of articles or search the key contents, the contextual informations from large volume of the documents, which is impossible for most of people because they need to spend quite a lot of time within unstructured documents, right? So with the technologies nowadays, we can help. So with the technologies, we can apply the classic machine learning models and large language models in the recent trends to help them to extract the key informations and classify the regulatory requirements from the financial documents. Of course, we also can rely on the Gen AI, the recent very popular topics, right? We can apply the Gen AIs to help them to summarize the financial statements, to understand the company yearly performance, so that they can generate insights to produce the very useful advice to their customers, right? And lastly, we also can apply the Gen AIs to how to generate the very smart queries. Like for example, how can we generate what kinds of information that user really needs? Like for example, what are the keywords? What are the semantic information that the users want to find out from the large volume of articles, right? So what I'm trying to say here is those use cases that I share and the solution that I shared just now, those are the very small, narrow use case in the financial industry. Of course, there are more use cases, like for example, in the auditing process, right? How do we do the so-called due diligence check for the customer backgrounds, right? In the financial sectors, very important, how can we do the anti-money laundering, right? How can we apply the recent technologies to help them to boost the productivities and find more insights, right? So before I close my speakings, I also want to share some advice to all the tech companies. in terms of how they develop the products to help the financial sectors to be a successful products. Like for example, they need to have a swift POC to help them to assess the technical feasibilities, right? And how much does it cost for the solutions? So that it enables the companies to know that whether the investments of these solutions is valuable enough or not, whether how much time they need to take in to break evens and earn from the investments, right? Secondly, is about the how can we simplify the start with small and simplify our solutions to help the customer first, and then how can we scale our solutions to in terms of the industry-wide applications, so that we can grow from the products instead of we design the solutions only for specific use case for one single companies, right? Thirdly, is to how can we manage our customers to by specifying the AI limitations, to let them know that AI cannot do everything, right? We need to have some kinds of level satisfactions by the customer so that we can roll out the product successfully and the user know that every AI can't do everything for them, right? And lastly, is about how can we protect our customer data, how to secure our customer data. So it's become a very green areas. How can we do our data cybersecurities, right? Those are the four key elements that I want to advise to all the tech companies that if they want to be a ventures in the financial industry to provide the IT services for IT solutions to them. Of course, there could be the opportunities for our young generations to bring the latest technologies and become a niche products to impact and to help the financial sectors. And this is a very big industry and very so-called revenue-driven, money-sensitive industry. So I hope that my sharings can inspire all the audience here to create more innovative solutions to deliver much better products to help the financial industry. With that, thank you everyone.
And implementing AI in the workplace, specifically the financial sector, but I'm sure also more than just finances, like you said, IT and other things. Yeah, I hope that in the future this AI will help increase productivity and allow people to spend more time doing things that, instead of doing minute repetitive tasks, we can give that to the AI and do something a little bit more meaningful or useful to the customers, and let the AI do the heavy lifting for us, right? However, I would like to hear what our speaker from Pakistan has to say as well. So I am going to give it to our moderator, Ms. Manur, to see what you guys have to say about trends. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joshua. So the first speaker from Pakistan will be Mr. Saddam Hussain, and he'll talk about the trends of entrepreneurship. Over to you, Mr. Saddam Hussain.
Thank you very much, Manur. Thank you very much, Joshua. And thank you for organizing this conference. I am Saddam Hussain. I work as Assistant Chief of Policy at PIDE, and I'm an institutional economist. So our world is a bit different from your world. I'll just, my other two panelists, the speakers, would focus more on entrepreneurship related. There will be more specifics of entrepreneurship. I'll just give you the macro picture. What is entrepreneurial economy and what went wrong in catching up with the global world. So I would just skip these first two slides. It's a global trend of the economy and the key economic indicators of 2024. Recently, GDP growth is finally going up and agriculture is picking up, industries has saw a decline and negative, and then slightly picking up now in the fourth quarter of the year. So things are pretty much decent, I would say. So next slide, please. So towards the topic, next slide. So what is an entrepreneurial economy? Entrepreneurial economy, what economists see, what Schumpeter told us, that it's an economy where you go beyond the productivity, you go beyond the economies of scale, where there's a risk involved and innovation is involved. So you reap the fruits of the innovation and productivity more than the simple productivity. So when there's a productive innovation is involved, then there's a different thing. So it's beyond the productivity which you were doing earlier. So that fruit, which is extra fruit, that can be shared with all, and specifically the innovator. So this how drives the economy, and it's a self destructing process. There's a one innovation, and few years down the lane there's another innovation, and the earlier innovation is obsolete, then new innovation. So it's a constant cycle of innovation that picks up the economy and that keeps the wheel of the economy running. So next slide, please. So how did the entrepreneurship develop in Pakistan? So the story begins from 1947. We got independence, and then the bureaucracy who knew how to do things, how the state functions, because they were trained by the British. There was just feudals. So nationalists and the bureaucracy, they sat together and they said, we need industrialization, we need factories, we need productivity, we need to give people jobs. So now we need industrialization and all. So for that, they created an incentive structure. So what this incentive structure was, the big push for the industry, and they gave incentives to the industry and tariff structures to control the imports so that local industry can thrive, and import ban so that localization mantra was introduced so that local products can be consumed and local industry could thrive and grow up. But what happened is that small industry was neglected. And same is with agriculture and elite. Agriculture, the green revolution and the incentive structure which was given in the industrial sector, they inherently benefited the big farmers and the feudal lords, but not, for example, there's a tractor. So a person having a small piece of land did not use tractor at all. Tractors were used by the big landlords. So is the tube well. So the tube well was not used by the small farmer, which an acre land or 2 acre land. It was used by the big farmer and the landlords. So inherently, it neglected the small farmers, small agriculture, small industry, and this created an elite class, which is the industrial class or the elite class. So they rose up, and then subsidies for exports were given, but they were not met by the sunset clauses. So the exports performance was always in negative. Next slide, please. Next. Yes. So this created the creation of elite class, created inequality within the state. There were rich people and there were poor people. There was elite class and there was poor class, and there was industrialist and there were laborers and masons and job seekers. So, and there were the bank defaults, obviously. So the elite took loans from the banks to support their industry, to support the equipment, to procure equipment, to install new plants, etc. But then later on, they would default and would seek the writing of the debts. So this crippled innovation, because when you see a particular class is having all the incentive structure and there's a writing of the loans and all, so but the innovation which a common man could innovate thing and he could bring in the market was dissolved and it was controlled by the elite class. So this cripples innovation, because I know that this incentive structure does not work for me. So why would I innovate? And what is the fruit for me in it? So this crippled innovation, and it created an economy of rent seeking and land development. Because of the elite class, they purchased properties and all. So this created land development as a venture. So industry got to the backyard, and the land development and the real estate become the new phenomena. We thought this is the economy. So you have seen the real estate booming up, and even now the housing societies and all. So the industrialization, because the industrialization is backed by innovation and skill. But when there's an elite class and they provide incentive structure and they take the loans from the government and then writing off and all, so the innovation was crippled and they became the the riches of the country. So they would just enjoy the money. So reinvesting and innovation was crippled. So this created rent seeking. So they were used to rent seeking, spoon feeding, export bias, etc. So this created a non-commercial cities. If you see in our cities, it's not a city. It's like, does Islamabad look like a city to you? Nowhere in the world there are two floors housing. We have two floors housing across Islamabad. Even in, you go to China, you go to England, you go to US, at least there are 6 to 8 floors, because city is booming with people. There should be more people in per square foot, per square kilometer. More people in the less land means rent would go down, more people, more demand, and more supply. So it creates all the supply chains and runs the economy. But here we see there's a wide highway, 8 tracks lanes, and beautiful houses and the bungalows. Again, that were by the bureaucracy and all. So the prime sectors in Islamabad, even they are hijacked by the bureaucracy. They have 6G, 7G, 8G, 9. So when cities are designed like this doesn't encourage innovation. When the cities are jam packed, there are more people, more opportunities, more supply gap issues, then there comes a new innovation to meet their supply gap. So our cities are non-commercial cities. Again, this discourage the innovation. Next slide, please. So for entrepreneurship, you have to understand the business in Pakistan. There's attraction of friends. Obviously, whenever you start a business, you will go for the NOCs and a permission for the government, and not the one government entity, a lot of government entity. You have to go for electricity permit and gas permit and building permit and house plan and building plan and blah blah. So this attraction for rents, I'll get my plan approved if I pay some money under the table. The cost of corruption it increases the cost of innovation. For example, I am coming with I have an idea, I have a solution. I come with, for example, Green Tech is my company, and I want to open the company. Then I would go round and round to the government offices to get my approvals. So it increases my cost. So this would discourage me. Then we have lack of research, expertise, and skills. This gap of research, industry, and academia research is missing. Expertise is missing, skill is missing. The China and Singapore, they rose up, they seized the opportunity when they found the window of opportunity, because the human resource was skilled. They had skilled, so when they got the window of opportunity, they plugged in their skilled human force and they grow. But if we get the window of opportunity, we could not grow because our human resource is not skilled. We just have degrees with no future. So we need to invest more on the human skills, technical education, which we have forgot almost. And friendly city administrators, poor legal framework, lack of trust and social capital because of the inequality and the hard economic conditions and changing of the social fabric. We have lack trust of each other, and social capital is going down. And the constraint of financing is a big issue in our country. Rural areas still have the access to finance issues. The banking sector and financial inclusion is on the lower side compared to the region and the global numbers. So financing is the first thing when you come to entrepreneurship and etc. So this is the first step. When you see there's a financing access issue, most of the people back down right in the first step. Next slide, please. So what is here for our topic today? This was the background, the macro picture, how it evolved in Pakistan. 60% plus of the population is youth. This is a big plus point for Pakistan, but also a time bomb for us. 4 million youth reach working age every year in Pakistan, but only 1 million jobs are added. This tells us that's why entrepreneurship is important, because the government cannot provide all the jobs. As you can see, there's a 4 million, 1 million, 3 million gap of jobs. So their emerging started ecosystem. What is good that in cities like urban centers, Karachi, Lahore, Peshawar, Islamabad, there has been in recent year emerging ecosystems. The youngsters, particularly from the privileged class, and those some had God gifted and talented, but most of the studied in good academic institutions. They come up with the startups, good solutions. They converge the supply and demand gaps. So this is fine, but again, they are doing it on their own. They are not facilitated by the government or not facilitated by any incentive structure. They are doing taking risk all on their own. If they fail, they would have all it on their heads. And the government initiatives, yes, they have taken some government initiatives, loan schemes, etc., but that are functioning in isolation. It is not backed by some kind of facilitation. They are just giving loans, so it can be termed more appropriately as a financing incentive from the government, not incentive to the entrepreneurship as a whole. Next slide, please. So challenges, as I already explained: access to capital, regulatory hurdles, market potential is there. You have been seeing some season in the money heist and etc. Pakistani IT experts have been shown there. So this means we have potential, a lot of potential. We have been acknowledged on the global stage. So no doubt about the potential. And talent pool, again, a talent pool is massive. We have a lot of talent, but obviously it cannot be done without the facilitation from the government and right infrastructure, right incentive structure. Next, please. So what are the key sectors that Pakistan can tap into? IT and software development, as I already mentioned, acknowledged by the global arena, that we have expertise in this and we have skills in this. E-commerce, post-pandemic, we have seen e-commerce has rising in Pakistan, especially the females and girls, the beauty products and embroidery, etc. These kind of things, we have seen it booming. So pandemic was a window of opportunity. We did not know this before, but out of a compulsion, we developed this sector and it's booming. Fintech is the one sector which Pakistan can tap into. A few of the entrepreneurs have tapped into, but again, it's related to finance, so it has to be facilitated by the government. Agribusiness and food tech, it's untapped sector in Pakistan, so it has to be tapped. And then renewable energy, green energy technologies, again, another sector for the future. Next, please. So support system, as I already mentioned, incubators, accelerators, co-working spaces, and networking and events. So these would support the entrepreneurship system. We need this. So I would come to my concluding slide. Next slide. So what is the way forward? You can just read the slide. I would just tell you that we need to overhaul the whole system. The government needs to change its mind. The state needs to change its mind. We have to come to the colonial mindset from the contemporary mindset. We need the government for the 21st century. And we need to digitize things, make things easy. Let's transaction happen. Let's economic activity happen. Don't suffocate things. And as I read, be the facilitator, not a player. The government should be facilitator. It should facilitate transactions and make it easy for them, and not be a player in itself, not a player into every sector of the economy. If the government does this, it doesn't need a penny, just a stroke of the pen. So if government backs out and rather than being an administrator, become a facilitator, so things will be smooth, and we have a lot of talent and we can boom in few years. But we have to change our mindset from colonial to contemporary administration. Thank you, Ji.
Thank you so much, Mr. Saddam Hussain. Over to you, Mr. Joshua. Your mic is turned off, by the way. Kindly turn on your mic. No. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much to our speaker from Pakistan. That was actually a very interesting kind of history lesson and brief summary of the economic development and current situation of the country. While I definitely understand exactly what you are saying with the points you make, but I like to be optimistic. I do believe that there is potential, like you are saying. There may be changes that need to be done, but if the correct changes are done, then there is a lot of potential. And I hope that Pakistan can help help the people of Pakistan, but also help to work with people in China and Singapore, and together we can, build stronger economies all over the place. I'm obviously not an expert on Pakistani economics, but it was a very interesting discussion, Mr. Saddam Hussein. Thank you very much. And I think, honestly, that is a perfect transition into the topic of discussion for the second session, which is going be talking about the challenges and policies implemented by the government relating to entrepreneurship and innovation in the local marketplaces. And so while we do have speakers from China and Singapore, as well as Pakistan, talking about the potential and the developments of the economy, of course, we are going to also have to face some kind of difficulties and challenges, hurdles which we need to get over, and we need problems or issues which we need to deal with in order to thrive and succeed. And so I think that was a perfect transitionary speech which Mr. Saddam Hussein from Pakistan just gave us. And so I thank him for that. Let us, though, turn it over to our speakers in Singapore. Mrs. Olivia, would you please introduce our next speaker for the part 2 topic, challenges and policies, please?
Sure. Our next speaker is Mr. Wilson. Mr. Wilson is a student at Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts. So now I would like to invite Mr. Wilson, please.
Okay, thank you. The organizers and guests, good evening. My name is Wilson. I'm grateful to Singapore Eye for giving me the opportunity to participate in such a rare event. As a young man who has received 6 years of education in China and Singapore, respectively, my views may not be comprehensive or in-depth enough. I would like to ask everyone to correct me and add to my opinions. Okay, Singapore's entrepreneurship and innovation environment will cause young entrepreneurs to face difficulties in terms of startup funds. After all, the startup funds for young entrepreneurs basically come from relatives. In the absence of insufficient startup capital, no grant or detailed blueprint can become a reality. This is the first challenge I think young entrepreneurs will face. Singapore's own market can be said to be very small, but it is also in line with international standards and has absorbed high-quality genes and companies from all over the world. Therefore, young people starting a business in Singapore must have an international perspective, and due to the high maturity of the market, 狼多肉少, more wolf with less meat, it is difficult for innovative companies to find their own position in the original market. After all, they have been occupied by those giants. This is the second challenge, I think. There are also problems that young entrepreneurs themselves have to face. No matter how profound their theoretical knowledge is, they have no practical experience and are prone to make various mistakes in the process of starting a business. As I just said, the Singapore market is very small, resulting in a low error tolerance rate, which inadvertently aggravates the difficulty of starting a business for young entrepreneurs. At the same time, the relevant technical aspects also need to be continuously optimized. If the competition is too fierce, 内卷 rat race will occur. This is exactly the case in the Singapore market. There are also psychological factors. In the mind of many local Singaporeans, so-called success refers to a job that can provide a stable quality of life, such as a lawyer or a doctor, rather than a business person who is likely to fail in business. This would cause a debt-ridden career. In summary, startup capital is small, industry competition is fierce, and trial and error costs are low. The above are all challenges. Then, of course, there are opportunities too. Firstly, due to its unique political and cultural attributes, Singapore can be Singapore can be compatible with both Eastern and Western enterprises. At the same time, Singapore's political environment is relatively stable. This is why many large Chinese companies have their overseas headquarters in Singapore, such as Douyin or TikTok and Huawei. Similarly, many Western companies have also established their overseas headquarters in Singapore, such as Microsoft and Alphabet, the parent company of Google. With the development of time, Singapore has increasingly become the center of economic and trade in the Asia-Pacific region. It can be seen that the above-mentioned large companies want to get a share of the pie and gain a foothold in the Asia-Pacific region. Therefore, it is difficult for young entrepreneurs to start a business in Singapore. But if they succeed, they can open up the entire Asian Pacific region and even open up the markets of China and the Western world at the same time. It can be said that the risks are high and the rewards are even greater. However, it is worth noting that although Singapore is the economic and trade center of the Asia-Pacific region, there are serious differences in culture, language, religion, and consumption levels throughout Southeast Asia, which may become difficulties faced by young entrepreneurs. From my personal point of view, Singapore is more suitable to be a springboard for an existing company to jump into a larger company, rather than a place for young entrepreneurs to start their own businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Okay, thank you to our speakers in Singapore. I apologize, Miss Olivia. Thank you for the transition. Thank you, Mr. Wilson, for your speech. It was very interesting. I never quite considered the implications of the local Singaporean market, the size of it, because in my mind, when I think of Singapore, I think of this huge marketplace, very international, but like you're saying, perhaps when you're starting out, it can be very difficult because these large companies are not suppressing, but taking up such a large space in the marketplace that it can be hard to innovate and be entrepreneurial. But like you also said, the bigger the risk, the larger the reward. So for some people, of course, it will pay off. And like you said, unlocks both markets in the East as well as the West. Quite an interesting aspect I never thought about. So thank you for that. Let's please turn it over to our speaker in Pakistan. I would like to hear what you have to say about the challenges and the government policies to work towards entrepreneurship and innovation. So thank you.
Will be Mr. Ali Zaki, and he'll be talking about the challenges and policies for entrepreneurship and innovation in Pakistan. So over to you, Mr. Ali Zaki.
Hello and good evening, ladies and gents. Myself, Ali Zaki, and I am a president of All Pakistan Geoscientist Association, and also teaching for the last 13 years in different universities, the top order business schools in Pakistan. So my area is entrepreneurship and project management, basically. So the introduction is a bit different as you introduced me, because you have shown my commercial side.
Okay.
So I'll give you my entrepreneurial side, right? So I'm the one actually in 2012, even 2011. So I was the one who established the first incubation center in Beria University. I was part of that team. So from the last 13 years, I'm teaching different universities. I build up many startups. Maybe more than 100 of my students are CEOs now. So I have produced entrepreneurs, from different school of thought. So what I believe, hearing the word of entrepreneurship, this is not a skill. Entrepreneurship, I believe it's a will, right? So you don't need a much of education to be an entrepreneur. This is also a plus side, but this is also a negative side, right? In Pakistan, there is a different mentality. We came across a very different mentality. When we born and we grow up, every parent says, become a doctor, become an engineer, become a chartered accountant, right? So the whole mentality, the mentality of the nation is a 9 to 5, right? So the biggest challenge, I believe, is that we have to break the silos. You cannot become an entrepreneur if you are not resilient. You cannot become an entrepreneur if you are not agile. If you are ready to take shocks, you can be an entrepreneur. So the first thing what we have to inject in our students or the youth mind is to change their mentality first. Pakistan is a population, so 260 million, a big country, right? We are not short of any talent. If a country can develop their atomic plan or atomic program, how cannot they excel into the different technologies? The only thing is that we have to develop an ecosystem. We have to develop the characters, right? The universities, unfortunately, I'll give you some figures in my next slides. Luckily, we are a population of young people. 68% population is young people, but unfortunately not more than 10% of that population are willing to come into the business. Why we have handed over to this big chunk of economy to illiterate people? I can give you an example. If you go and see the biggest companies in the world and also in Pakistan, mostly are undergraduate. And even in Pakistan, the biggest sector is real estate and construction. 90% of the entrepreneurs, the biggest, I would say the billionaires, are not even metric. They even cannot sign. So we have to develop a dialogue, or we have to convince our students to come into the business. So this is, I think I am facing this problem for the last more than 10 years, just to tell the students that you should start your own small business rather to just seek of the jobs. Because in future, if you see that where Pakistan is standing right now, maybe after a couple of years you will hardly find any opportunity, a good job opportunity. If you are engineer and you are doing job in banks, so there is no relevance actually. You are just killing your talent. So my whole presentation will be on that. In this, it will be revolving on these points. So these are 4 points which we are going to address in our presentation. So we are actually short of time, so I'll summarize. These slides are not for me, these are for you guys, right? All right. If we talk about the challenges, can you please come forward? Next slide, please. These are some statistics. As I told you before, that 68% of the population are young people. Plus, there are many startups. The government has taken some initiatives. The universities or the academia or the other corporate sector, they have taken some initiatives just to start this startup overall mentality. But unfortunately, there is no effectiveness, there is no controlling, there is no accountability. So we should not just announce the program, we also have to monitor, we also have to see that how effectively it is running. So there will be a lot of challenges I'll talk about. There will be a lot of platforms the government has talked about, but still we are lag behind on something, right? So I think the first thing is to change the mentality of the people, just to bring them into this. You have to convince students to be an entrepreneur. Then you have to see all these things. There are different platforms, different startups, different incubation centers. Every university have their incubation center right now. Without having an incubation center, maybe you will receive some letters from the Higher Education Commission. So now it is compulsory for every university to have incubation centers. I'm in coordination with a lot of frontline university in Pakistan, just to build up their startups and all the incubation centers and innovation centers. Can we go to the next slide, please? This is a very busy slide, right? So the story already told before the kind of opportunities or the kind of market we have. Can we go to the next slide, please? All right. So this is the point which we are going to discuss. Can you move to the next slide, please? Yes, these are the market challenges we are having right now. Few are mentioned, but there is a list of the challenges which are not mentioned. Like, I mean, we have a corruption in our country. Unfortunately, the leadership is not, giving much of their time to their nation or to the people or to their citizens. So the policies are not friendly, actually. So that is why the confidence is not coming up with the youth to start up their ventures. For example, I mean, investors, if you go to if a young person who's go to convince the investors, hardly there will be people who are start their inject their money into their business, because they do not have the confidence on them. So we should have angel investors who can fund and who can invest into these their ventures. Then there will be obviously incubation centers and innovation centers, and to support their business. The next point is, I think, is very close to my heart, is the skill. Obviously you should have a business development skills. If, for example, if you need 1 billion from me, if I'm the investors, then you should have a proper plan or the proper skill. Then I'll gonna inject my money in your business. So I think all the incubation centers or the universities must have to develop skills, actually, especially business development skills. Then actually in Pakistan, we now unfortunately go into some fancy things, right? For example, if a West is doing well in IT, or West is doing well in AI, if and we just go beyond that on that direction. But we have to see what are our strengths. we have finest we have finest cotton in Pakistan, but unfortunately our textile is not growing. Why? We must have to focus on that. Those are the young entrepreneurs must have to focus on the current industry we have, so that you will get the chance to export things. Then you will come up with your brilliant ideas. So we maybe you're not aware of, Pakistan has the best surgical instruments and we are exporting actually in Sialkot. So why the young entrepreneurs are not thinking on that? So there should be a proper counseling of the students or the young people, so that they can seek opportunities into the right direction, rather than just, if I start following China or start following Singapore, maybe I'll not end up to build a great Pakistan, right? So this is something which I think is need to be addressed and needs to be done. Also the mentorship, right? If, for example, I want to become an engineer and I do not have any mentor in my mind, so I don't have any benchmark. So there should be a someone, or we must have to create the environment of discussing our ideas to other people. But still the people are very scared to share their ideas, because they are scared that the idea is not snatched. It is happening in our country, unfortunately. But we must have to develop a culture of developing mentorship, right? And obviously without technology you cannot go beyond. Now you're Pakistani, but you're a global citizen now, right? So you must have to adopt a proper technology, so that you can scale up your business rapidly. So these are the current market challenges which I feel that we must have to address, and we must have to see if we have to promote the culture of entrepreneurship and innovation in Pakistan, which I'm doing from the last more than 10 years. Thank you so much. The whole my slides are basically the data which I have inserted about the government agencies or the ministries and the universities, the name of the universities and the name of private and public platforms are trying to establish their centers to develop the culture of entrepreneurship, right? We can move to the next slide. So these are the entrepreneurship support organizations. You can have we have more than 30 organizations actually in Pakistan. As far as the textbook is concerned, yes, they are, but it is a question that how effective they are working, right? So can you move to the next slide, please? So these are the government bodies are supporting. There is a list of bodies they are supporting entrepreneurship, but still the question is the same: how effective are the policies? I mean, if I'm a youth, I'm a young person, if I am convinced or I'm not convinced with these policies, so that is why the people are not coming into the business. Why they are not coming? The business is so lucrative, right? Can we move to the next slide, please? So what support does the local government provide in this regard? Obviously, they have requested the Higher Education Commission to build the incubation centers in Pakistan in different universities and innovation centers and all that. So the whole story revolves in this story. Can we move to the next slide, please? So these are some views. Actually, I have the real data. I collected this data from different sources, from governmental sources. Right now, I'm working with some of the very sensitive companies related to the entrepreneurship. And in future, you will see a couple of national and international platform are coming in Pakistan to establish the entrepreneurship. I cannot disclose right now because the things are on the table right now. So these are some views of the young entrepreneurs, or what they feel about the policies and the challenges they face. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, so this is the question: how effective are the policies? Everyone has to answer that. How effective are the policies? You ask the question from me, inappropriate. The government must have to take the initiative. They must have to take their students very seriously, because they are going to compete the world. So we must have to develop the policies accordingly. Thank you so much for your time, for having me for this very insightful discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ali Zaki, for talking about the challenges and policies for entrepreneurship, and specifically the pointing out the opportunities for the youth. Now it's over to you, Mr. Joshua.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Ali Zaki. That was, again, from Pakistan, a very interesting and in-depth, but also easy to understand kind of introduction to the system and perhaps the policies and issues that we face. Again, I would like to say that there seems to be potential, like you mentioned, and like the previous Mr. Saddam Hussein mentioned. There is a large talent pool. There seems to be potential. We need to work. We collectively need to work on unlocking the market of Pakistan and enabling Pakistan, the Pakistani youth, which makes up most of the country, to have a more entrepreneurial and braver spirit. Like you're saying, perhaps they lack some confidence in their ability to succeed. And so I appreciate what you do, teaching the youth there to strive for their goals. I think that's quite a noble thing for you to do. It's good. I would like, though, to turn it over to the team here in China and hear what our Chinese counterparts have to say. So before I start, I would like to remind the speakers here to introduce yourself just give us your name and your major, where you are from, a little bit of background so we can understand your perspective. So the first speaker from China here is going to be Mr. Bai Zixuan. He is from Chongqing University School of Civil Engineering. So I'll give the floor to him.
Okay, dear professors and scholars, and ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I am Bai Zixuan from the senior students in the School of Civil Engineering, Chongqing University, and I major in structural engineering. And it's my honor here to be here to give you a brief introduction about the difficulties and challenges for youth, innovation, and entrepreneurship. And before I start, I would like to extend my gratitude for the excellent content shared by the Alizaki and Wilson for their content, and because they have been very developed in the, they have seen much, talk about much about the difficulties. So I will be brief on the part and the difficulty and challenges. And so the past decades has been a very days of high-speed development for China, when the economic was thriving and the enterprises keep rising and life kept improving. And so the entrepreneurship is almost within everyone's arm's reach. But as China has embarked on a new stage of high-quality development, and the things is different. So I have seen many people from other countries. They come to China. They told me that the infrastructure of this country is very good. And so on the other side, the labor cost and the high labor cost and the development systems has led to a series of difficulties, which include but not limited to funding gap, and also some of the field opportunities. And finally, the situation just places higher demand for the youth personal capacity. And so this is for the difficulties, and so government has proposed a series of solutions in China. And the first of all is fund support. Yes, the fund support, and many enterprises in China, especially the new ones in the field of emerging industries, which requires a lot of funds to operate. As China just embarked on a new stage of high quality development, the financing cost has been raised to regulate the market, and therefore, in order to encourage and according to the National Bureau of Statistics, and in 2023 alone, additional 1.8 trillion yuan has been reduced in tax and the fee. And also there is a series of the special funding project for innovation and entrepreneurship programs. And in Chongqing, there has been the 256 projects funded by the similar project. And the next one is the intellectual property right protection. And I can tell you the situation in decades ago from my own experiences. My father, he constantly buys some pirated games, which is cheap to buy. Because at that time the game is 100, 200 yuan, which is way too expensive for the common household to buy. And actually, this kind of atmosphere is for lack of respect for the intellectual property right. And so, as we are just embarking a new stage, and the technological intensive enterprises will be increasingly important. And this is why the intellectual property right must be protected to protect them. And therefore, our National Council has issued a political outline and to build us intellectual power from 2021 to 2035. And the next one is the innovation cluster. Innovation cluster, yes. This is also, I can tell this from my personal experiences. And just like the organs of our bodies, which put together a series of cells with special functions and to make it a very efficient and effective cluster. The innovation cluster is also a platform which integrates the research and development and the manufacturing, exhibition, and the ecology systems. And this is a platform where the scientific research achievements can be transformed into product and put into the selling process. selling process, and at the same time, the ecosystems and expansion systems constitute a very important part for the selling process. And at the same time, the ecology systems, which is very important, is also a part of a city ecology systems. This idea, the concept of the innovation cluster has been a very popular idea in the China's infrastructure construction. And I have seen some of the clusters in construction during my internship. And the Chongqing University has also been active participant and acted in this part. They have invested and constructed innovation cluster just behind the campus that we are currently in. And so the fourth one is relevant talent is mobilize relevant talent and stakeholders. And the major stakeholder I'm just introducing you today is the universities. And let's to explain this, I have to explain the basic concept about the innovation and entrepreneurship policy, and which to look for new opportunities from the research sector. And therefore, as a cluster of the science and the technology, university has been a vital stakeholder in the innovation and the entrepreneurship policy. And however, in contemporary in China now, the scientific achievement can be really transformed into some kind of products for a lack of actions of universities and other stakeholders. And this is why a series of projects, the contest, and also the courses has been launched to mobilize the university students, researchers, and overseas talents to participate in the project. And they are therefore empowered for the innovation and entrepreneurship policy and bridge their capacity gap. For example, Chongqing University has already held the ACE China International College Students Internet Plus Innovation and Entrepreneurship competition, with solid outcomes being put to the ground. And so finally, the youth response as most active participant in the innovation and entrepreneurship policy. Youth has responds actively to the measures which has been proposed by the government. And they believe that the the innovation and entrepreneurship policies just provide a platform which can integrate the human resources, the investment, technology, and which is very, very fundamental for them to find the new opportunity at the age. And also is a chance for China is a chance for China to transform its economy and an open gate to the rest of the world. And that is all for my speech, and thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bai Zixuan. Very informative speech. I appreciate the information and examples that you gave. I like the topic in general. I think that the Chinese economy is changing so rapidly, and being here physically, I see it happen before my very eyes. It's very interesting, and it's cool to see these government policies and these changes which allow for new businesses to open up, new entrepreneurs to start their dreams, basically. And I look forward to seeing more of this kind of development in the future. And I hope that we can see this kind of change and policy attitude spread to other countries, right? But I would like to also hear from our second speaker here. That is going to be Mr. Raman Sagidur from Chongqing University of Post and Telecommunications Management Science and Engineering School. Right? So please take the floor. Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sajid Rahman. I'm from Bangladesh. Now, I am currently pursuing my master's degree in management science and engineering at Chongqing University of Post and Telecommunications. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you about a fascinating and impactful topic. The exciting world of youth entrepreneurship and innovation across different countries. So I will explore the challenges young minds face, the support local governments offer, and how effective these policies have been. So imagine this. So you have a brilliant idea, right? So a solution that could change the world. But your biggest hurdle, what is the biggest hurdle? So access to capital, right? The main issues is access to capital. So a 2023 report by the International Finance Corporation state that 52% of early stage entrepreneurs in developing economics cite access to finance as a major obstacle. This highlights the continued challenges young entrepreneurs face in the securing funding. This is a universal struggle for young entrepreneurs across the global. In developed countries, banks might be hesitant to lend to unproven business due to perceived risk. In developing economies, limited access to financial services creates a significant roadblock, which is leaving many young innovators without the necessary funds to launch their ventures. The limited access to funding compels young entrepreneurs to demonstrate innovation and resourcefulness, which is frequently starting their businesses using personal savings or turning to the crowdfunding platforms. The result is a gap between potential and realization, where many innovative ideas fail to materialize due to the financial constraints. Furthermore, so funding is just one piece of the puzzle, right? So young entrepreneurs also face challenges related to the broader ecosystem. According to the 2020 and to 2024 Global Entrepreneurship Monitor report, the rate of the early stage entrepreneurial activity is 25.5%, which is developed economies compared to 18.4% in low and middle income economies. Certain cultures might hinder taking risks because they place little value on entrepreneurship, either in case they place social pressure on following standard careers. The typical expectation could place greater value on entering the fields of healthcare, law, finance, or engineering than on rolling out a business. Moreover, a lack of mentorship and business education can rolling out a business. And then they need guidance on everything from market research to financial planning. Furthermore, navigating regulations and permits can be a bureaucratic nightmare, especially in countries with underdeveloped infrastructure. This hurdle can detect even the most determined young entrepreneurs, highlighting the need for a supportive ecosystem that encourages and nurtures innovation. So many governments have put initiatives in place to assist young entrepreneurs in recognition of the potential of youth-driven innovation. These initiatives have the power of changing things. Like financial assistance eliminates the cost of setting up a business by funding low interest incomes or low interest loans and tax benefits. Consider a scenario in which a government grant is given to a young entrepreneur with an innovative idea. The initial funding may serve as the beginning capital essential to bring about the idea. So young entrepreneurs can also be connected with expert in mentoring by training or support programs, which is also offer training covering significant fields like marketing, as I mentioned, marketing, finance, or law, and their business sense and operational skills are much improved by this increase in knowledge. So business incubators are also include chance to connect with prospective investor connections and common workplace that are provided with technology. So as an illustration, young entrepreneurs in China and Bangladesh face significant challenges, so including financial constraints, complex regulatory procedures, and intense market competition. Both governments have responded with any initiatives to providing funding, tax incentives, and streamline business registration. So now let's go and appreciate accomplishment. Xiaomi, right? A leading smartphone manufacturer founded in 2010. A successful young Chinese company. So Xiaomi has benefited from government support for innovation, including tax breaks and access to resources in government-backed technology parks. Xiaomi's revenue grew by 27% year on year in first quarter of 2024, showcasing the potential of government-backed initiatives. Another successful businesses in China, like we know DJI and ByteDance, become known as global leaders in drone technology and social media. These companies attribute the success to government efforts like the Mass Entrepreneurship and Innovation Initiative. Additionally, the Digital Bangladesh Vision Initiative, launched in 2010, focuses on fostering technology and innovation. It provides support for young tech entrepreneurs through various programs, including training and access to technology grants. So, as one of the most influential thinkers in the field of management theory, so we know Peter Drucker once said, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to Mr. Rahman Sagadur for your input on this sector and the challenges and policies that we face, not only in China, but Bangladesh, as well as generally, I think, all over the world. Yeah, I would say that lack of access to financial resources is probably one of the biggest issues that people face in creating a new business. Right? How can you start a business without the money or the confidence to use your own money to risk it, right? So policies which kind of promote this idea of financial security or having some kind of tax benefits or more easy to access loans would, of course, I think, help benefit the youth if they are opening up their own stores or trying to innovate and create new things, right? Expand the market. Yeah. So that concludes part 2 of our 3-part session of discussions. However, I would like to note that there is a slight change in schedule due to a time constraint here. So before we move on to part 3 of the discussion, we are first going to have our case sharing from our guest, Dr. Ashraf Al-Jarmuzi from Yemen, who is coming from here in China, I believe. But could you please introduce yourself a little bit and then go ahead and share your case? I look forward to hearing what you have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Ashraf. I'm from Yemen. In 2010, I obtained my bachelor's degree in civil engineering. Then I worked as a civil engineer in Saudi Arabia until 2014. In 2014, I received the Chinese government scholarship CSC and came to China to study. From 2014 and 2015, I studied Chinese language for 1 year. Then I started my master's degree in civil engineering and graduated from Northeast University in 2018. After that, I worked at China Railway Group for 1 year in Jinzhou in Henan province, and after that I go to Ethiopia branch for the same company. Later, I decided to return to China to study a PhD in road and bridge engineering at Chongqing University. After these years of works and research, I was thinking that's not my way. I don't want to be an engineer in someone's company. As you know, due to the increase of business opportunities brought by Belt and Road Lane, I decided to establish my own company as an import and export company in China and start my own business. I specialized in building and road materials, which is connected to my major. To develop this company will introduce the customers outside China to the new materials that can help to develop their countries. My services are including check the best price, check the quality, and shipping product to the final destination. At the beginning of the company, a big challenge is appear, which is how to get a customers to start business with me, with our company. So in the beginning, you need a lot of advertising, you need a lot of patience, but at the end, you will get your result. Thank you for your time.
Interesting. Thank you, Dr. Ashraf Al-Darmuzi, coming to us from here in Chongqing, although originally from Yemen, sharing his personal experience with having the bravery to start his own company after he decided that working for somebody else was not in his plans, right? Yeah, I would agree that it's a great idea to see what the country you live in produces and what the local or regional or even international market requires, and see if you can try to start a company to maybe make connections and sell things that are produced where you live to, people from places where it costs more or where they don't have access to it. So quite a good idea on your part, Dr. Ashraf, although you're a doctor. So of course you're pretty smart. Thank you for your case share. We will now move on to the third and final part of the discussion phase. This last part is talking about suggestions. So this is suggestions that our speakers have for entrepreneurship and innovation, things that they maybe suggest on a government level, but also some suggestions for us as individuals, as potential entrepreneurs and business creators, business owners in the future. What should we do? How can we improve cooperation between our countries and interaction with the global market? I will give it to our speakers in Pakistan first. So I will throw it over to you, Ms. Manur, to introduce the speaker over there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joshua, for sharing suggestions and talking about the ideas on entrepreneurship and innovation. Our next speaker is Mr. Waqas Ashfaq Qureshi. So over to you, Mr. Waqas.
Thank you very much. If you can kindly turn on my presentation, please. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and I'm really honored and excited to be part of this Asian Youth Dialogue. We had very interesting and great discussion, and I'll be more focusing on, as Joshua explained, the suggestions and what we can do for young entrepreneurs, so they can improve their lives better, not only for themselves but also for their families society, countries, and ultimately globally. So I'll be very quick. I understand the time constraint. Next slide, please. So Pakistan is a young country. We have discussed this in the previous discussion as well. I mean, different estimates, but a country of 240 million, and 64% of the population is young, under 30 years of age. And 29% of this is between 15 to 29 years of age. Half of these are female and women. I'll be more focusing on young women entrepreneurs. Next slide, please. 60% of our population lives in rural areas. And if you estimate 60 million population is female who's living in the rural areas. But unfortunately, if you look at the global gender index, we rank at the bottom. Just recently, World Economic Forum has announced their global gender gap index, and we are ranking at 145 out of 146. If you look at economic participation and opportunity sub-index, we are at 143, which is also really bottom. And the female labor force participation of Pakistan is only 21%, which is very low as compared to the other countries in the same economic situation. Next slide, please. But there are young women entrepreneurs. 8 million women in Pakistan are home-based informal workers. Probably the products which we are buying and seeing in the markets of Islamabad, Peshawar, Lahore, big cities, they are being produced by women in rural areas. And they have been involved in different number of products they are producing, and very good high quality products, footballs, apparels, different products they're producing in those rural areas, in those remote areas. Next slide, please. Unfortunately, they are not getting the fair price of their effort and abilities, because next slide, because there is a middleman who is involved. The women do not have the access to the market. They do not have a direct access to the market. What they do, they produce the product at their homes, and then there's a male member of the family who is involved, who deals with the middleman, who then comes to their villages, buys the product, and go and sell in the local market, or to give it to a big, we can say the marketers, and then they sell it at a higher price. So that at the end, the woman or a young entrepreneur who is producing the product in the remote village is not getting the fair price of her efforts and her abilities. Next slide, please. How we can solve this problem? Now, here comes the suggestion. The information and technology. We talked about IT, we talk about digitalization. Here it comes. There are 8 million women in Pakistan who are informal workers, and they're producing the products, but they do not have the direct access to the market. They do not, they don't even have their bank accounts. So the IT can bring a revolution to this. These women can have their own bank accounts. They can use the online courier services to deliver their products. So the middleman will be out then. So they have a direct access to the market. They can have their own bank accounts. They'll be equipped. What they only need is just a training and little support, so they can be. They are still entrepreneurs, but they'll be more successful entrepreneurs. Next slide, please. Next, please. I have covered this already. So what we can do when it comes to cooperation between two countries, 4 things I have identified: funding and investment. We can establish through the investments of any other cooperative country, training centers in the rural areas, technology transfer. IT is a big, industry now. So the countries who have already developed or executed these type of activities in the rural areas, that can be transferred and we can learn from them. Best practices, and also the public-private partnerships. Like the government can have this partnership with private organizations who are big IT companies and who can support these women in rural areas, and we can bring a revolution in this. Next slide, please. This was the first aspect, the suggestions for the informal workers. The second one is the agriculture, youth and agriculture. We already know that 23% of our GDP relies on agriculture, and 40% of Pakistani labor force, they work in agriculture, and there are a large number of women and young women as well involved in this sector. Next slide, please. But if you look at the last few decades, the natural disasters, they have impacted our agriculture sector a lot. I mean, earthquakes, floods, they hit our agriculture, for lives of farmers, women, everyone. And it's a big problem for Pakistan as far as the agriculture sector is concerned. Next slide, please. So again, IT comes here as a rescue. The modernization of agriculture, the introduction of information and technology, how we can bring revolution into the agriculture sector with help of information and technology. I mean, currently our farmers are still relying on those traditional agricultural practices which they have been following for like last 200 or 300 years. But in the other world, things have changed. The agriculture have been revolutionized, and modernized agriculture is now in different countries. Next slide, please. So in order to support the lives of farmers, the young women farmers in remote areas, in our rural areas, we can support them with the help of IT sector, and we can support them with information and technology to modernize the agriculture sector. Next slide. And again, I have highlighted few areas of cooperation between two countries, which includes the digital platforms and e-agriculture, exchange programs from other countries who have executed and implemented the reforms in the agriculture, the climate resilience programs, how to cope up with the disasters, and also agricultural technology transfer. So this can help Pakistan, and Pakistan can learn from China, Singapore, or from any other country how to bring this revolution into the agriculture sector. Next slide. I believe that's all. Thank you very much. I've tried to be brief. I wanted to have more discussion on this, but I've been informed that there is less time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ashfaq, for sharing your views and ideas regarding the entrepreneurship and innovation in Pakistan. Now it's over to you, Mr. Joshua.
Thank you so much. That again is very interesting, Mr. Wakash. I really like the emphasis you put on trying to integrate and introduce females in the market and allow them to have, a fair share of the profits from their own work, cutting out the middleman. I don't know. It's an interesting topic, which again, coming from my background and where I currently live, I don't really consider this, but it's quite eye-opening, the discussions that we're having here today. So I really appreciate the input, and I hope to see some of our ideas implemented in the future. Right. Let's move on to the Chinese speakers and see what they have to say, how this compares to what we just heard. So we will first have our speaker, Mr. Zhang Xiaoyin, from Chongqing University's School of Agriculture and Urban Planning, give a speech. Please take the stage.
Okay, distinguished guests, teachers, and youth from Singapore and Pakistan. I'm Zhang Xiaoyin, and I'm currently pursuing a master's degree in urban planning, and it's my great honor to present this section to you, where I mainly focus on suggestions on employment and innovation and entrepreneurship from the perspective as a Chinese youth. Well, my presentation will mainly focus on these three aspects. Well, the first topic is employment. At present, due to the industrial restructuring and college graduates increase, youth in China are actually facing very increasing employment pressure, as shown in the left figure. However, on the contrary, there is a severe shortage of blue-collar workers in China, especially in field of high-precision manufacturing. And therefore, It may sound like radical, but it's an inevitable trend that more well-educated young people will shift to blue-collar works, as what the United States and Germany have gone through. But there must be some policies to support this shift. And as far as I'm concerned, I listed some suggestions considering three levels. For social level, we need to change the singular value system and reduce the systematic discrimination against the blue-collar professions. And for enterprise level, they need to improve the salaries of blue-collar workers and improve their employment environment. And for state level, to establish a batch of high-level vocational colleges and introduce more professional skill training programs in universities like Chongqing University to cultivate a group of high-tech professional blue-collar workers. And the second topic is innovation and entrepreneurship. Similar to the shortage of the blue-collar work issue in China, we're also facing a severe shortage of innovative and entrepreneurial talents. And according to the reports on graduates over the years, the rate of independent entrepreneurship of college graduates remains below 4%, which is far lower than that of developed countries. And although like what Bai Zixuan have mentioned, the Chinese colleges have established a comprehensive system for innovation and entrepreneurship, and also have very nice built innovation clusters or centers. The commercialization rate of these projects actually is very low due to the lack of effective guidance and funding, and the low success rate of entrepreneurship. In the other hand, further reduces the willingness of Chinese youth to start their own business. So to address this issue, I also listed some suggestions considering two levels. Well, for college level, they must hire teachers with rich experience, real experience in entrepreneurship and innovation to provide effective guidance for students. And for state level, encourage and guide professional institutions like enterprises, venture capital firms, entrepreneurship parks, and research institutes to participate in talent cultivation. And the last but not least, foster a cultural atmosphere of tolerance for failure and encouragement of innovation throughout a society, stimulating the innovation enthusiasm of Chinese youth. Well, the last topic is international opportunities. Since 2023, the Chinese enterprises going global has become a trend, and the topic of youth working overseas has also become a hotspot. According to the data from the Ministry of Commerce, the number of non-financial overseas investment enterprises have increased by 23% in 2023. And with China's closer cooperation with Belt and Road countries, the more and more Chinese youth choose to devote themselves to developing countries like in Asia and Africa. And according to a survey by Lieping in the first half of 2023, the number of job seekers applying for overseas jobs has increased by 93% compared with last year. However, there are still some factors such as language and cross-cultural barriers, cultural dietary, safety concerns, and unclear career planning that pose challenges to youth to work overseas. So enterprises should provide a safe and comfortable working environment for overseas employees and provide more support for career development of overseas employees, as well as those who have already returned back to China. And we, as a Chinese, we also want to encourage the introduction of outstanding talents from abroad. Well, as the youth, we also need to actively learn foreign languages and cultivate cross-cultural working capabilities. And that's the end of my sharing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Zhang Xiaoyin. Quite interesting. I never quite thought of it the way that you put it, but 4% of Chinese youth go into some kind of entrepreneurial career. That isn't a lot. Statistically, though, 4% of Chinese people is quite a lot, like numerically. But like percentage wise, yeah, that should maybe be a little bit higher. Yeah. But we're working on it. So next we have the Chinese speaker, Miss Wei Yutong, coming from Chongqing University of Post and Telecommunications School of Foreign Languages, here to share her opinion.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Wei Yutong. I'm from Chongqing University of Post and Telecommunications and major in English. It's a privilege to stand here to discuss a topic that resonates deeply with our times, the role of youth in innovation and entrepreneurship. In an era marked by swift changes, the creative endeavors of the young are pivotal, not just for personal growth, but also for shaping the destiny of our nation and society. Let me share with you some insights on how we as the youth can cultivate our innovative and entrepreneurial spirit. First and foremost, self-assurance is the cornerstone. Whether we are talking about the market, the future, or our own journey, a positive outlook and unwavering confidence are indispensable. The market may be rife with competition and challenges, but it's equally brimming with opportunities and potential. Trusting our own abilities and creativity and being willing to take risks and explore new frontiers are hallmarks of every successful entrepreneur. Next, the pursuit of continuous self-improvement is vital. Our country is investing heavily in education, with the reach of higher learning expanding rapidly. As the caliber of our workforce rises and businesses pivot towards quality development, we are presented with unparalleled opportunities for learning and growth. We, the youth, must seize these moments, honing our knowledge and skills through education and experience, aspiring to become talents with a global impact. Furthermore, it's crucial to integrate and leverage our surroundings effectively. The government's robust backing for scientific and technological innovation is evident in the area of supportive policies and initiatives. Take Chongqing, for instance, a pivotal city in the Belt and Road Initiative and the Yangtze River Economic Belt. Is undergoing extensive urban development, fostering an open business climate, a welcoming living environment, and a stable and secure ecosystem for innovation and entrepreneurship. Innovation and entrepreneurship parks for us brought in every district in Chongqing, complemented by support policies for students, such as the free access to incubators and tax relief for the initial years of business. These measures provide a nurturing ground for the youth to innovate and thrive. Looking around the globe, countries are continuously increasing their support for the innovation and entrepreneurship of young people. Many nations have recognized that the innovative spirit and entrepreneurial drive of the youth are crucial forces for driving future economic development. As a result, various countries have introduced policies to support the youth. For instance, Asian countries such as Singapore and South Korea encourage young people to turn their ideas into actual projects through innovation and entrepreneurship competitions and incubator programs. Moreover, international organizations are actively promoting cross-border cooperation projects to facilitate the exchange of innovation and entrepreneurship among young people worldwide. Through these support measures, young people around the world can better utilize resources, broaden their horizons, and realize their innovative dreams. In closing, innovation and entrepreneurship are not merely avenues for personal triumph, but are also the driving forces behind societal advancement and economic prosperity. As the vanguard of our generation, we carry the weight of our times. We must be brave enough to challenge conventional wisdom, embrace new challenges, and approach them with a spirit of openness and innovation to discover and realize our loftiest aspirations. Thank you for your listening and your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Wei Yutong, for your speech. Again, very informative, and I think this one was fairly positive as well, talking about the innovation and entrepreneurial spirit, and how countries are starting to, well, some countries are starting to overcome or kind of incentivize, perhaps, entrepreneurial modes of career and company building, especially amongst youth, and how we are starting to do that perhaps in China as well, hopefully. Next is our speaker from Singapore. So I am going to give it over to Miss Olivia in Singapore to introduce the speaker over there. I have a...
Okay, sure. Thank you, Josh. So for Singapore, for the speaker for this question, we have Mr. Lin Xiaoqiang. Xiaoqiang is a PhD student from National University of Singapore, and he does research in artificial intelligence, specifically data-centric AI and large language models. Now, Mr. Lin, please.
Okay, thanks for introducing me and having me here. So just a little bit more detail on my background. I did my bachelor study in Fudan University in Shanghai, China, and currently I'm a PhD student in computer science from National University of Singapore. So I would like to give personal level and governmental level suggestions on entrepreneurship and innovation from the perspective of an AI researcher, and share with you my thoughts on cooperation between different countries. So for personal level, I think anyone who wants to start a company or do any kind of innovation now needs to have a solid understanding of AI, even if you are not going to start an AI company. There are two main reasons for this. So firstly, AI is generally used for. So as we know, like ChatGPT are becoming more and more popular nowadays, right? So I think we can all agree that AI, especially generative AI, is used for almost everywhere, like the finance, which is mentioned by Stephen previously, and medical applications and personal uses, etc. And secondly, knowing what is the state of the art AI we have now enables us to know what is possible and what is not possible to come up with better solutions in real applications. A solid understanding of the workout in AI helps people to form an intuition on what can be done using AI and what cannot be done. So since having a solid understanding of AI is important, I would like to give some advice on how to learn AI if you are not already familiar with it. So firstly, don't have the mindset that AI is complicated and something that you will never be able to learn. So nowadays, the hardcore part of AI technologies, like AI infrastructures, have been built. So you don't really need to deal with the troublesome part to train a model or employ a model in applications. So try out by yourself. And secondly, you need to start with some easy math. A solid understanding of modern probability theory and statistics is a fundamental skill to understand AI. So you can find a lot of useful textbooks online to study these subjects. And thirdly, you can leverage free online courses. There are tons of courses on AI that are available on YouTube, which target at different audience. Some courses explain AI in a layman's way so that you don't need relevant backgrounds to understand it. Lastly, I would like to mention a very important point. I would encourage you to read some research paper on AI. So please don't have the mindset that research papers are hard to read with complex math. Nowadays, the research papers in AI are well written with minimum mathematics inside. So especially for those impact research papers that directly lead to the technology like ChatGPT. So these are really easy for people who are not researchers to understand it. For example, the paper on transformer model.
which is called Attention is All You Need. So this paper, I think it only takes a high school student to understand it. So for the advice in governmental level, I think government should contribute efforts to let people learn more about AI. For example, government can put up some policies that encourages universities to design more master programs in AI. I know that in China, there are already a lot of master programs on AI. However, most of these programs are long in duration. They are like most of them are 2 or 3 years, and they are targeted at research. These programs are great, but more programs that provide AI education with a shorter duration will definitely encourage more people to learn AI. For example, the master program in National University of Singapore is 1 to 1.5 years, which is non-research focused and is more available for people who don't really want to do research. And lastly, I would like to share my thought on the cooperation among countries. I think different countries have different advantages. For example, China have a large body of young talent, while Singapore have capital to fund the development of startups. I believe that the cooperation among these countries will bring the innovation into the next level. And that will be the end of my talk. I would like to take any questions from you. Thank you.
Okay, many thanks from Mr. Lim. Yeah, your sharing is extremely insightful, particularly your sharing on the tips and advice of learning AI. Now we would like to throw back to the Chongqing venue. Joash?
Appreciate hearing from everybody about this. I think that we got some really good topics. I'm sorry, some good suggestions about this topic from many different angles, because it's also fascinating seeing how the different countries interact with these topics, how the people from Pakistan discuss things different than the people from China, discuss things different from the people in Singapore. We're all, it seems like, perhaps in different stages of development or have different market focuses. However, we're all human. We all want the same things. And I think that we all have our own strengths and potentials. And so by working together, if we can have some more international cooperation, we would be able to further unlock our potentials and, strengthen, reinforce what our markets are good at, and kind of buffer or strengthen what our markets need help with. But AI around the board, I think, can do it all. However, that concludes our section 3 on discussions. We are going to move into the final part of this event, which is part 4, the question and answers, Q&As. So we have it scheduled that different countries are allowed to ask questions. We have it scheduled as of right now that Pakistan has the floor to ask the first question specifically to China. So if the team in Pakistan has a question for China, now is your time to ask it. The floor is yours.
Okay, so we have a question from Miss Faiza Dua. Miss Faiza, if you want to ask something, you can, please.
I wanted to ask, how do regulatory and bureaucratic hurdles affect new businesses in China? Repeat my question.
Can you please repeat it one more time?
Sure. How do regulatory and bureaucratic hurdles affect new businesses in China?
Okay. So the The question is about how the regulations and these kind of hurdles are impacting the market in China. I would like to invite if one of our team members here has an answer or would like to answer, please go up to the podium. You have the floor. You are able to speak. So whoever would like to answer. Pakistan, I've been asked to further elaborate on the question. Can you please ask the question one more time and I will try and explain it.
Ms. Faiza. Okay, if you want to do that. Okay.
Hello, this is Amir. Yes, actually, our participant is asking about that how the regulations in China are impacting or assisting the entrepreneurship ecosystem in China.
Oh, okay, perfect. That's what I thought. Let me real quick convey this to the team members. So the idea is, how do the regulations impact or hinder? How are they helping or disadvantaging the entrepreneurial innovation, the marketplace amongst the youth in China? What are the regulations like? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they helping? What's going on? What do you guys think? Oh, we have somebody willing to answer. Please, can you state your name when you're answering? Introduce
Okay.
yourself.
Okay, I am the previous keynote speaker, Bai Zixuan, and from the School of Civil Engineering, Chongqing University, and about the government regulation impact on the entrepreneur environment in China, if I take in the questions correctly. As I have already said, that in the past, to regulate the market, some kind of serious measures has been proposed to for example, raise the financing cost and tightening some of the policies. In some ways, in the past, it did cause some problems or troubles for the entrepreneurship. But now the government is just adjusting the relevant policies and measures. As I have already said, that it's proposed measures like the tax and fee reductions, and also it has proposed a series of measures in financing to lower the financing cost for the enterprises, so that they can make many projects economically feasible, which is not in the past. So many there is also a serious measures being implemented, but the basic the major point is that we have the government of China is adjusting some of the measures so that it can provide a better entrepreneurship environment, and there is in the past there is indeed some of the policies which is not good to for the entrepreneurship, but now the China is just revising it step by step. So it will take time, but it's kind of the way that we are just making our effort, and that is all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it seems fairly comprehensive. Changes are being made. Good. There are difficulties, but the regulations are changing to help promote and strengthen this entrepreneurship. Before we move on, I would like to just give the opportunity to Singapore. Do the people in Singapore, do you have any questions or comments about this, what we just talked about? If not, that's okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Josh. Let me check with the speakers here. Anyone have any comments? Okay, our speakers don't have any comments, but I personally find the answers from Chongqing is very useful because he provides quite a deep insight into the regulatory system of China and how does the China regulatory system supports the development of innovation and entrepreneurship. So we would like to proceed with the next section because I believe next section is there's some question from Chongqing to Singapore and we are ready to answer.
That's correct. All right. Good. Thank you. Thank you. The way we have it structured is the person who is brave enough, the person who is willing to answer the question is allowed to ask the next question. So if we could please have our answer giver come up and ask a question to the team in Singapore. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for the chance. And so based on the presentation you have already given, I do have a question to the Singapore. And it's very intriguing that you have mentioned the artificial intelligence usage in the financial service, which is under developing. And the research group, in my research group, we're also dealing with some of the use of AI technology in the civil engineering. And this is what my supervisor told me that the employment of the artificial intelligence has been limited to the area and the industries which has which is very tolerant to the errors. For example, the facial recognitions, the only result for the error is just we have to do it again. But it's different in the industrial sectors. So if you make a mistake, the medicine will be ruined and many lives will be taken. And so this is a question about the AI technology and how you are just and in your innovation entrepreneur programs, how are you just improving some of the precision requirements, precision, how to make your artificial intelligence more precise? If this is a very technological question, but I'm really curious about this.
Sure. Just to repeat the question real quick to summarize it, I believe the question is how Singapore seems to focus on the implementation of AI in the industry, in the marketplace. However, AI seems to be fairly general or broad and not very precise, specifically with things like medicine or with medical treatments or even surgeries that can cause some issues. So what is the government doing, or what are the regulations, or how is the marketplace working with AI to make it more specialized or precise, to work on increasing precision, I believe is the question, right?
Thank you for the question from Chongqing. This is indeed a very technical question. However, we do have expert here. So now I will pass the time to our expert speaker.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for the questions. Both questions are very good questions. So I would like to answer the first question regarding in terms of if the AI produces the errors and how can we improve and how can we deal with the AI with the errors. So most of the so-called intelligence systems that we apply in the industries, especially let's say for example my family, the industry, the financial services that I'm familiar with, we have the so-called manual process to verify the AI results. So without this, we cannot confidence that whatever the AI produced result is correct or not. Otherwise, it would produce the incorrect insights and make the incorrect decisions for our customers, right? So what AI helped the financial services is to help them to produce much better productivity so that they can make the information much faster instead of the so-called making more accurate information. But without the AIs, it helped them to gain the insights from bigger pool of the informations in much faster way, right? That's the the benefits to apply the AI in the industry, right? So back to the second question regarding for AI to apply in other industry, like for example, medicines, the medical industry, or could be the civil engineering. Of course, the Singapore has their own rules about what kinds of regulations for governs the different industry in terms of how to apply the technologies to enhance in terms of, let's say, for example, securities, in terms of safeties in the civil engineering, how to make sure our construction sites is in a safe environment for them to build the buildings, right? To protect the staff, to make the construction much better environments, right? Of course, let's say for example, in the health Ministry of Health, they also have some regulation in terms of how to apply the technologies, how to protect the data when the intelligence systems process the patient's information. How can we protect the data? What are the regulation in terms of the AI? How can we make sure that the AI produce the results must be able to verify by certain medical practitioners, so that to make sure that we as a technical implementation for the AI systems is able to make sure that we produce a safe applications for the industry to use. Yeah, that's all for my insights. Thanks.
Thank you for your answer. We hope this clarified the question from Chongqing. Now, I believe the rule that is explained by Josh is the speaker who answered the question will ask the next question. So according to our flow, the next question will be from Singapore to Pakistan. And now I'm wondering whether our expert speaker have any question for Pakistan.
Definitely. So Pakistan is a very so-called new countries to me. I'm not have any chance to visit Pakistan. So I know that just now from the speakers know that there are some the young populations in Pakistan is quite big, right? Which means that it brings opportunities for overseas countries to invest in the Pakistans. So so my questions to the Pakistan teams is, let's say for example, as the IT specialist, let's say for example, like me, who has more than 14 years experience to build the intelligence systems in different areas. Like for example, I have the experience to build the image processing in for the medical devices. We have the I have the experience to in the airlines operation optimization services. How can we build the software to help the airline to reduce the cost? So in terms of the looking at the cost reduction perspective, how can we find the good opportunities to enter into the Pakistan markets by applying technologies to help Pakistans to improve their own productivity with low implementation costs, right? So that's my questions to the Pakistan team. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Very relevant. Thank you. Very relevant and important question. So we have experts here to answer. Please, Mr. Zaki.
Yeah, Pakistan, I believe, is a land of opportunity because it's a populous country, and from the last more than a couple of years, a lot of emphasis on information technology, artificial intelligence. Many universities are working on that. Even because the market demands are just like that. So I think this is the best time to invest in Pakistan, and because now the government is very supportive, they are looking for the investors from China, from Singapore, from other Western countries to invest in Pakistan. So I think we have very educated youth. We have people who are not finding opportunities right here. So that is why they are leaving the country. And I think this is the time for a nation like you, like Singapore, to invest in Pakistan. And I tell you, there is a lot of potential in students in different universities. So I happen to be in a couple of the universities, and top leading engineering universities are a lot of initiatives are in plan to give incentive to the investors, and one window operation, as I mentioned in my presentation. So it's a big market. We have a best weather. We have a focus towards industry, because for us now the survival is exports or industries. So although country has to survive, because Pakistan has gone through a so much difficult time. We faced more than 2 decades in wars, and a war against terror. So now obviously from the last couple of years, political instability. So I think this is the time. If I, as an economist, I foresee now, because everything has to be stopped at one time. So this is the time now where the Pakistan will flourish, where the youth is committed, where the business community is committed, and at the same time the government is very much interested to take initiatives and to give policies that is that is investor friendly, that is best for financing. So I believe now is the time to invest in Pakistan. I tell you, Pakistan has a very good potential of producing medical instruments. Many Western countries are importing surgical instruments from Pakistan. Pakistan has a great potential of producing sports goods, right? Pakistan have a great capacity to produce culinary arts and cutleries. So I think there are certain, and as far as the IT is concerned, I have seen a lot of companies are now going global. Pakistani companies are going global. So I think there is a lot of potential in Pakistan, and this is the right time to invest. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Zaki. I think, yeah, please, Mr. Vikas, please.
Thank you. That is a very good question, and my colleague Ali Zaki has already explained in detail. I would just like to highlight two things. As you mentioned, artificial intelligence, and as I already mentioned in my presentation, the biggest sector in Pakistan is agriculture, and a great chunk of our population relies on agriculture, and it's our major export as well. So artificial intelligence can play a big role to bring a revolution in Pakistan agriculture industry. So I mean, just if you look at the stats in the recently announced budget by the government of Pakistan, only 5 billion has been allocated. So this is a big sector where it has a potential, and artificial intelligence can help a lot to bring a revolution. Because if you take examples, let's say last year Pakistan exports mangoes, but last year due to unexpected rains, the crop has been affected, and the cotton crop has been affected as well. So let's say if artificial intelligence can help agriculture to be resilient and to play a great role in economy. Secondly, the second thing is that the IT sector, in which Pakistanis, young entrepreneurs play a great role, where they export softwares, and like they work on these website where they are freelancers and develop products and deliver them globally. That is also a key sector which can be tapped and help the young software scientists, engineers, and entrepreneurs. They can be supported, and this can be another sector to invest. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vikas, and thank you so much, Mr. Zaki. So we have a participant from our panel to ask a question. If you want to, okay, introduce yourself and then ask a question.
Hello everyone, my name is Anita Ali, and my question to Singapore is, as you have talked about how the sectors exposed to AI are experiencing 5 times more growth. So my question is, what policies or incentives according to you could drive further innovation and entrepreneurship in Singapore? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question from Pakistan. Is it possible for me to clarify whether your question is whether there are any regulations or policies in Singapore that can promote the innovation and the development of entrepreneurship? Is that the question?
Yes, this is the question.
Okay, sure. Are there any speakers who are ready for this? Okay.
Hi team, thanks for the question. I'm Ananya. I'm a graduating student from the Singapore Management University majoring in finance and financial forensics. But maybe more interesting to your question over here, I'm also the managing partner of Project Ventures, which is Southeast Asia's first student-run venture fund. So I guess something that's very unique about Singapore from a regulatory perspective is how do we engage and empower young people to take charge of their own interest in the scene. So from a regulatory perspective, the reason why my team was created about 6 years ago was because they felt that if you want to invest in young people, you should get young people to invest in young people, if that makes sense. So maybe something for Pakistan to consider at a policy level. Do you maybe want to implement something like Project Ventures where you empower young people to invest in their peers? From another more I would say tertiary level from the school perspective, incubators are great, but how about having peers to also evaluate why exactly your service is useful or not? So just a couple of thoughts there, but over here, I think it really is about how do we get the mindset to change, but also empowering young people to support other young people.
Thank you for the answer from our speaker. And I personally also agree because as a student who is majored in law, I do see the development of the legal system to keep up with innovation and the development of law that supports the rise of new companies, especially those companies or projects started by youth. So this also signatures the government's support for innovation and entrepreneurship. So now I believe the time is the question from Singapore to China. So I'm wondering whether our expert speaker has any question for China.
Okay, sure. So the question that I would like to ask is that because I've been to Chongqing as a traveler. Okay, sure. Sure. Okay, sure. Okay. So I've been to Chongqing as a traveler before, and I know that Chongqing actually faces the complicated roads and traffic jams. I know. So will this situation promote the development of new energy vehicles? Like as far as I know, one of the major advantages of new energy vehicles over traditional cars is their fast starting and the braking speed.
Okay, so to summarize the question is mostly about the development of new energy vehicles, for example, electric vehicles, electric cars. So we are wondering about the development of new energy vehicles, especially electric cars in Chongqing.
Oh, thank you for the question. It seems pretty clear. That was a good question. You're asking the right people. Chongqing is crazy about electric vehicles. They're all over the place. This is the place where they make them. So let's see if we have anyone who can provide a good answer about this, though. We have any brave souls? Oh, we have two people standing up. Okay.
Okay, thank you guys. And I'm Zhou Wuhan from Chongqing University, and I have visited some of factories and innovation center of this car factory in Chongqing, just like Chang'an and Salis. And so for these companies inventing the electronic cars, they have a automotive factory for the car building, for the car manufacturing, just like the Tesla does. And in Chongqing, there are many new technology inventing the electronic cars in different ways, such as the software interface in the car and the battery manufacturing, and also the car design in the outside and inside of the car. And we think that the new energy car, just like the electronic car or the hydrogen car in Chongqing, is developing in so many ways, and it has become a it has become a huge engine for Chongqing's economic growth, and also for our youngs to entrepreneurs some parts in the Chongqing. I also know some startups to create some new technologies for this car brands and the factory. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Chongqing is very strong in development. Oh, we have a second speaker. Go for it.
Hello, I'm a sophomore in Chongqing University, and about the question raised by Singapore about the new vehicle development in Chongqing, I have something to share. Just 10 days ago, actually, in June 10th, a first demonstration area that was featuring the vehicle road cloud integration was settled in Chongqing Western Science City just here. And it was a integrated of not only the new vehicles, but also it was integrated with the artificial intelligence that was called intelligent generated artificial intelligence in vehicles. And actually this the first demonstration area has a leading role in the new vehicles in Chongqing. And just as I said in my presentation, that this trend have driven more than 60 related enterprises to settle in the Chongqing Western Science City just here and near the Chongqing University. And also the Chongqing University are doing the things to promote these trends, like just the two speakers of the China has said that we have a cooperation between enterprises and the schools to co-cultivate and co-build a college of engineering, also about some platform to promote the cooperation on the new vehicles and the automobile industry. So that's the new development of Chongqing. And Chongqing is also the pioneer of the new vehicle of China. Thank you.
Thank you for your speech. Yeah, I again would like to emphasize, from my perspective, Chongqing is very heavily invested in electric vehicle development and manufacturing. So if you have any questions about that, these are the people to ask. If you want to know about how to do it, this is the place to come check it out. Of course, China is a big country, and there are obviously other places that are doing this as well. But from what I can tell, Chongqing is a manufacturing hub for EVs. So very relevant question from Singapore. However, let's move on to the next question, which is from China to Pakistan. So I don't know if the students who answered want to answer, or if we have anybody else who has a very pressing question to ask to our team in Pakistan. Yeah, go for it.
Also, and it was a student of Chongqing University to raise a question to the Pakistan. Just as the Mr. Stephen Shi, the first speaker of Pakistan, have raised that, he just stated the importance of financial support for the entrepreneurship and innovation on Pakistan. And so I'm interested on the word just he raised, like the big push, the subsidies, the bank grant, and how about the foreign investment of Pakistan? And I searched that the Savar Adi Mahmood, the special assistant to the Prime Minister of Pakistan, just said on the BFA, the Ball Out Forum for Asia, that China has two advantages for attracting foreign investment: the economic stability and consistency of opening up. So what's the advantage of Pakistan to attracting the foreign investment? And also just under the framework of the CPEC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. And as the speaker of Pakistan has said, that Pakistan was a young country. There's so many youth in Pakistan. So how do you use to take advantage of this CPEC cooperation? Just clarify my question that what's the advantage of Pakistan to attract foreign investment, and how do you use to take advantage of the CPEC cooperation?
Thank you so much for asking the question. I believe there are 2 or 3 parts of this question. So, Mr. Saddam, you want to answer that?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, the big push and subsidies and all are the things of the past in 1950s and 1960s. The problem with those subsidies and incentive that the government was involved in this. Whenever a government is involved, inefficiency is the sure outcome. So what we as an economist and what my institute, the top economic think tank, autonomous think tank, we say that let the market work itself. The government should be out, it should facilitate only, and let the market, either it's real estate, IT, automobile sector, whatever, the market should evolve. The things would settle down on the framework of supply and demand. The price, the invention, the innovation, the skill, everything will settle down on its own. So the government should come out of it. Secondly, what Pakistan can do for FDI and what are the prospects? Pakistan again is a land of opportunities, and as one of my friends just said, we have been doing a lot of research for like 4 to 5 years at my institute. And one thing, a starting point, 1 point agenda, that we need to remove uncertainty. There should be an element of predictability whenever an FDI comes into the market and FDI comes into the Pakistan. Wherever we go, wherever we meet people, they said, you give us assurance that the incentive structure would not change for next 4 to 5 years. If it is to be changed for next few weeks or next few months, how can we invest even? So I guess this should be the stepping stone, that we should have the sense of predictability and remove uncertainty. That could be done by introducing broad-based framework, industrial framework, or an investment framework, which should remain same at least for 5 years, 8 years, or 10 years. So that's from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much for answering that. Yeah, you want to add something, Mr. Zaki? Yes, you can.
I think very rightly mentioned. One more thing, if you see the developed markets, I think very well mentioned, Saddam Sab. I certainly would like to add a couple of more points in this regard. First one, if you look at the developed market, the ROI as compared to developing countries are very slice. So continuously I'm saying that the Pakistan is a land of opportunity. It's not just words. These are some statistics shows. And if you talk about the CPAC, this is not just for the benefit of Pakistan. In fact, more than 70% of the benefit of this CPAC goes to China. So I think this is the, if the predictability comes into play, or you can say that there will be economic stability, or there will be a political stability. The countries like Pakistan are just like paradise to invest, because there are a lot of ROI involved, and from developed countries you cannot get the return on investment in double digits. So I think Pakistan has a great potential in manufacturing, in developing the technology, and as well as the tourism. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Zaki, for answering the question. So over to you, Mr. Joshua.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you to the team in Pakistan. So we are going to move on to the very final section. The final section is a free question and answer section. So this is for anybody who hasn't asked a question or would like to make a point. They are able to. I would like to start this off by saying I have a student here who is poking at me to ask a question. So we're going to start the free Q&A. It won't take too long. It takes as long as it takes, though. But we'll start it off with a question from a student here. And please, when you ask the question, tell us who you are asking the question to.
Okay, I'm Cheng Rui from the Chongqing University of Posts and Telecommunications, and I have each question for Singapore and Pakistan. Um, okay, for Singapore, and because the artificial intelligence is mainly talk about, so I also want to ask a question about AI, and for like students majoring language, these days are hearing that, oh, you're going to be replaced by artificial intelligence. So for me, also a student majoring translation. So I want ask the question is that in terms of the impact on the language majors, especially translation, and how do you think it's a bless or a curse to the like language majors? Okay, and another question for Pakistan is that uh, I remember that the last speaker said that the women in Pakistan and most are located in rural areas, and information technology is needed to help them have the access to the market. So how the government issue the regulations to help them to like use information technology to solve the obstacles? Yes, that's it. Two questions.
So I believe we are going to answer it first. Mr. Saddam, if you want to answer it, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking that question. Unfortunately, nothing. I'll not say nothing, but not much as far as women in rural areas are concerned. If you look at the statistics, the number of women who owns a smartphone in rural areas is very low as compared to men, and even in urban areas, but in rural areas, a woman owns a smartphone is very rare. So as far as your question was like what government is doing currently in the budget, they have allocated 79 billion rupees, which is the second highest after higher education and education. But as far as the individuals are concerned, as far as equipping young women with the new technologies, making training centers for them, equipping them with the latest technologies, it's very rare. So not much is being done currently by the government. That's why I added this in the suggestions, that this is the area where investment can be done. This is the area where cooperation between the two countries can be done, and the training centers can be established in those areas, in the remote areas, and infrastructure can be built in those areas. These young women entrepreneurs can be equipped with the latest technology, not only the equipment but also the knowledge and trainings. So I hope I answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yeah, you want to add something? Okay, you can, Mr.
I certainly would like to add two more points. The first one is everything is, it's a collaboration, right? It's a mutual interest. For example, for you, Pakistan is attraction, and for us, you are attraction. There are many companies already. Chinese companies are working in Pakistan. I know some of the companies, Singapore companies, are working in Pakistan. Even and couple of companies we are working right now. Maybe you have heard the name Surbana Jurong. Surbana Jurong is a pioneer in designing smart cities. So our upcoming project is been designed by Surbana Jurong. So we are also, although we are a very small market, but still we are looking for the quality, and if any company is doing a good work, we use their services. So it's a mutual understanding, or it's a mutual benefit for both of the countries. So we have a very good ties with China. Even more than 4 decades we are in collaborating with China in different fronts. So I believe it's a mutual understanding. It's a mutual benefit for both of the countries. If you invest in Pakistan right now, I repeatedly am saying that this is the best time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Zaki and Mr. Vikas, for answering the question. So it's a free question answer session. If any one of you wants to ask anything, yes, please, Maya.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. Thank you for giving me the floor to ask the question. By profession, I am an environment scientist, and I am from Fatma Jana Women University, Rawalpindi. And I am also a woman entrepreneur and the sustainable solution provider. And I am the founder of Green Plastic Private Limited. At Green Plastic, we provide and develop 100% biodegradable bags produced from potato peels. We are reducing plastic pollution as well as organic waste, and we are the only females that are working on the plastic pollution in Pakistan. So our speakers have listed the many challenges before. So I would like to ask how Chinese and Singapore startups collaborate with the Pakistani startups to overcome the common challenges that we are facing. So just like I have mentioned that the plastic pollution is not a regional problem or the as the one single nation problem. It is a global problem. So there are, like plastic pollution, there are many challenges that we are facing. So how Chinese and Singapore startups collaborate with the Pakistani startups to overcome the common challenges? So this is my questions.
So you want to ask this question to your Singapore fellows or Chinese fellows?
To both.
To both. Okay.
Uh, o- okay, thank you for the question. We believe there's one more question from Chongqing to Singapore about the whether AI will displace the role of translation students or roles like translators, right? So maybe it's possible for us to answer the question first before we proceed to the question from Pakistan. So to share some of the insights, because I am also a student studying some sort of language related majors. So I also hear from other experts that what if AI developed until a stage that it will replace jobs like lawyers, because now we all have some system that can automatically came up with all the legal reports and legal advices. So, but only when I entered into some of the practice, some of the internship, I discovered that for many of the legal documents, we cannot fully rely on AI because, firstly, it is not accurate enough. There are some sort of legal terms or some sort of ideas you want to express, and AI is unable to express it. And the second thing is sometimes you need to translate on the spot, and sometimes you must factor in the emotions. So sometimes you must factor in what the person you are talking to wish to express, and this all of this can only be felt by a human being instead of an AI. So a lot of times we translate documents in front of the client, and we must be able to obtain all sorts of information and faster generate translations together with the points they wish to express. So there's some sort of insights from me, and I'm wondering whether there are any other expert who wish to share.
Yep. So please allow me to supplement the additional insights from myself regarding whether the technologies would replace the workforce. Whatever could be the lawyer, could be the some of the translators that just now the Chongqing's teams mentioned about. What I'm trying to say that technology is your assistance, but it's not going to replace the jobs. Right, is to help you to boost up your productivity. Let's say, assuming right now you your clients ask you to translate a contract, right? Just now our MC mentioned that the legal documents, right? So in terms of those kind of professionals areas, the AI can help you to produce the first layer of the translations in terms of how can you do much better speed in terms of to translate the context for you first, right? But it still requires the human beings to verify the quality of translations and at the same time to express in terms of the importance of the informations in the contract. Let's say, for example, in the translation contracts. Yeah. So in short, AI can't replace the humans workforce, but it's an assistance to you. Yeah, that's all. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the answer.
Yeah, you may carry on, please.
Oh, okay. I don't know if Singapore wants to answer the final question, but I have been told that we are at time, so we need to wrap this up, if you know what I mean. I love this conversation, and I wish we could keep it going. Maybe we can meet again tomorrow, guys. You get my phone number, right? I actually do. I do mean it. I like this conversation. It's fascinating. But we are at time. We are over time, to be quite honest. So I don't want to cut things too short, but at the same time, we do need to cut things where we are, unfortunately. So I don't know if Singapore has an answer prepared for Pakistan's question, then you guys can shoot it off and we're done. But I don't think we have an answer here, and I don't want to take too much time. I got people poking at me, telling me to end this. So, Singapore. Your microphone is off, Miss Olivia. I apologize.
Okay, thank you. I believe in the interest of time, we are not able to address the question now, but if Pakistan is still interested, we welcome you to email us your question, and we will reply to your email within 3 business days.
Hey, okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I don't mean to be curt, but we are at time. I apologize, Pakistan, for the way that this is ending here, but I appreciate the questions and I like the enthusiasm, and bring it with you in the email to Singapore and bring it with you to the email to Chongqing. We will answer it. However, we are going to move on to the closing statements here because we do have to wrap this up. So without further ado, let's finish this thing off. I would like to invite Professor O Ling, who comes from Chongqing University and is the head of the School of Foreign Language Studies, to give us a quick summary speech. So please, a round of applause.
I will just give a very quick and the summary, the feedback about today's event. You have noticed that time really flies when we have the effective and very interesting communication here. So it has been about 3 hours. We haven't just even noticed that time really flies like that. It feels like we just started, but here we are at the final section of this event. As we come to the conclusion of this enlightening and inspiring Asia Youth Dialogue, I'm honored to stand here, but not as the kind of expert. We have got 3 experts from Pakistan and Singapore. They have given a lot of practical suggestions for the youth in this topic, right? I just would like to share what's in my mind and what's my impression on this event. First of all, I would like to say that today's dialogue has been a testament to the power of collaboration and the shared spirit of innovation among the youth of what's going on in economic field. The discussions have revolved around the opportunities and the challenges faced by the youth in entrepreneurship and innovation in China, in Pakistan and Singapore. All participants have made insightful contributions and engaging discussions. I'm particularly impressed by the innovative ideas and the entrepreneurial spirit demonstrated in the presentations and the interaction, especially the Q&A sessions, right? You have shown a profound understanding of current economic trends and the emerging sectors, the emerging economies. The industries such as AI, which has been talked about many times today, right? the digital economy and the culture and creative industries are ripe with the opportunities due to the global trends and urgent social needs. So maybe we focus too much today, I think, on AI, but we still have a lot of things to talk about, such as the health industry and the kind of the green economy, green energy. We have talked about green energy today, right? So your insights have shown not only your deeper understanding of the current economic trends and industry developments, but also your passion and commitment to driving change in your own countries. Today in 3 countries, I think, right? I'm firmly convinced that the governments and the institutions, including the universities, will strive to provide the necessary support and assistance to help the youth succeed for example, in the area of securing the funding, establishing incubators and accelerators, facilitating international cooperation, and etc. In a lot of aspects. Actually, you have mentioned quite a lot. And to the youth from 3 countries, I have great expectation of your future efforts because your enthusiasm and dedications are the driving forces that will shape the future of entrepreneurship and innovation in Asia. The event today has successfully provided a platform for meaningful exchange and collaboration among Asia youth. And it has highlighted the importance of cross-cultural understanding and cooperation in fostering innovation and entrepreneurship. Actually, we can feel how the situations are different in 3 countries, right? So that's why we have so many interesting questions from each other to each other, right? So the collections made and the exchange, the ideas exchange will undoubtedly contribute to the brighter and more prosperous future for 3 countries. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the organizers today, the West China International Communication Center and the Land and Sea International Communication Public Affairs Foundation for your efforts in make this event possible. I hope this dialogue will continue to be held in the future, further promoting mutual understanding and collaboration among the youth of Asia or even other parts of the world. Last year, we had the dialogue between the European countries, right? Yeah, and additionally, I'd like to thank the co-organizers, Chongqing University, for providing such a magnificent and modern value, and Chongqing University of Posts and Telecommunications, Premier Media Services Private Limited of Pakistan, and our counterpart in Singapore, right? I also expect to take a moment to acknowledge the exceptional performance of all the young participants today. You should be proud of your contributions and celebrate your achievements. Last but not least, my heartfelt thanks go to all the staff, teachers, and students who have worked hard to ensure the success of this event. It is your dedication and joint efforts to make today's dialogue a reality. To all the young in this event today, your future is bright, I think, full of hope, full of sunshine. And it reminds me of the Chairman Mao's sentence, the youth are the rising sun in the morning, right? So let's join hands across land and seas, embrace the future with greater passion and strong determinations, just to keep going ahead. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Professor Oling for the speech. I think it was a good summary and kind of perspective from a more seasoned and experienced individual. I'm sure you have seen these kinds of conversations before, so you know what to expect, and you can appreciate the passion that we have had during these conversations. This is perhaps one of the most interesting international conversations I have ever been a part of, and I would like to show my appreciation and give my thanks to everybody who participated in this, from the speakers in Pakistan and the speakers in Singapore to the speakers here in China as well. I would like to thank Dr. Ashraf Al-Jarmuzi from Yemen, although I believe he is on an airplane. And of course, I would like to thank my two co-moderators here, Miss Manur and Miss Olivia. You guys did an excellent job. Thank you very much. You make my life easy. Thank you to all of the co-organizers of this event. Thank you to everyone watching this event. We see your chats. If you are sending us chats, we do see them. And I just want to say that this has been an eye-opening experience, not just for me, but I'm sure for other people. I really liked learning and seeing the juxtaposition between the different countries. Very interesting the way that we address and come at and approach these topics. The people in China, the people in Singapore, the people in Pakistan, we get the same topic, but we decide to talk about different things. Very, very interesting. And I really like it. And I hope that we are able to combine our strengths to overcome our weaknesses and be better as a more international community. I look forward to seeing more of these kinds of conversations in the future, which I'm sure there will be. I believe this is annual, although that might change. Who knows? From here in Chongqing, I think that is going to wrap it up. I want to say again, thank you to everyone who is here, who is present. Thank you to everyone who spoke, and thank you to everyone who is watching. We wish you success in life and happiness, health, and I should say success in your entrepreneurship and innovative careers that you are going to have after having such a nice discussion with us. Right? That's going to do it for us here. Have a great night. We'll talk to you guys later.